Welcome to Voices Online TV, your trusted source for the latest news and developments in Sierra Leone. Today, we embark on a groundbreaking journey into the arts of our nation's digital evolution. In a world where information flows seamlessly through screens and keyboards, new media has become a powerful force shaping our society and driving progress. From the energetic bloggers who bring fresh perspective to social media, influencers who amplify voices and stories, Sierra Leone's digital landscape is alive with innovation and engagement. In our new program, New Media Contribution to Development in Sierra Leone, we explore how these digital pioneers are transforming our nation. Join us as we dive into the world of online content creators and media innovators, discovering how their efforts are fostering growth, education, and empowerment across Sierra Leone. Tune in as we spotlight the voices behind the screens, unveil the impact of new media on our development journey. This is New Media Contribution to Development in Sierra Leone, only on Voices Online TV. Voices,
your trusted information hub.
Welcome to Voices Online TV, your trusted source for the latest news and developments in Sierra Leone. Today, we embark on a groundbreaking journey into the arts of our nation's digital evolution. In a world where information flows seamlessly through screens and keyboards, new media has become a powerful force shaping our society and driving progress. From the energetic bloggers who bring fresh perspective to social media, influencers who amplify voices and stories, Sierra Leone's digital landscape is alive with innovation and engagement. In our new program, New Media Contribution to Development in Sierra Leone, we explore how these digital pioneers are transforming our nation. Join us as we dive into the world of online content creators and media innovators, discovering how their efforts are fostering growth, education, and empowerment across Sierra Leone. Tune in as we spotlight the voices behind the screens, unveil the impact of new media on our development journey. This is New Media Contribution to Development in Sierra Leone, only on Voices Online TV. Voices,
your trusted
Welcome to Voices Online TV, your trusted source for the latest news and developments in Sierra Leone. Today, we embark on a groundbreaking journey into the arts of our nation's digital evolution. In a world where information flows seamlessly through screens and keyboards, new media has become a powerful force shaping our society and driving progress. From the energetic bloggers who bring fresh perspective to social media, influencers who amplify voices and stories, Sierra Leone's digital landscape is alive with innovation and engagement. In our new program, New Media Contribution to Development in Sierra Leone, we explore how these digital pioneers are transforming our nation. Join us as we dive into the world of online content creators and media innovators, discovering how their efforts are fostering growth, education, and empowerment across Sierra Leone. Tune in as we spotlight the voices behind the screens, unveil the impact of new media on our development journey. This is new media contribution to development in Sierra Leone, only on Voices Online TV. Voices,
your trusted information.
Good morning and welcome to this edition of Voices at 7 a.m. where they come to you live from Voices Online TV in our Facebook and YouTube channel. The 1 hour 30 minutes program, they look at issue them we get for do with development na salon. You will they watch and want for take part in the program can do so by way how you will send me text message na any of the comment section in our Facebook and YouTube channel. Or you can as well go now we WhatsApp or text line +232 34225 373 +232 34225 373. Mina Fatima say one pie presenter them for this edition of the program Voices at 7 a.m.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you so much.
Good morning and happy birthday, Fatima.
Thank you, Arnold.
Good morning, Mina Arnold Felix Elba. Inside the program this morning, we look at different stories and different issues. Them at the program today, we look at the Anti-Corruption Commission, the consultation where the commission be all with President Bio this BNTM, how this TALEC and waited for put together with the ACC called the National Strategy 2024 to 2028, and we continue for look at President Bio in speech at the state opening of Parliament. Usa is saying government don't do well for commit itself for promote press freedom. This plus other interesting report then at the program for you this morning. So continue for with me for the next 1 hour 30 minutes.
Alright, we will continue the program and don't forget for like and share the page. We will now take we first story inside the program before we come to we studio guest we don't already join we in the program this morning as we expect Augustine James, we in a head of programs na the media reform coordinating group. He go join with just now as we go. But for now, make we take this interview on the breastfeeding week, where it end yesterday in 7th August 2024. But this week advocacy don't give message for make people, especially comrade them understand what to make it fine for give Bobby to young baby. Well, we own Emmanuel John Conte, we go work at the Olajuwon Children's Hospital and talk to Matron Martha Laga, we tell him more about the breastfeeding week, why it fine for give Pikin Bobby, and plenty other things them where he talk about inside this interview.
Bobby water is very fine for Pikin. Now that make we all the CC, we dey get World HIV Day. We dey get World Tuberculosis Day. But when it comes to breastfeeding, make it call am Bobby water because I want to come at the level where all comrades understand. When they say forgive Bobby water to Pikin, when they celebrate her for 1 whole week, it dey begin from the 1st of August, say rondon go to the 7th of August. So you dey see say it's very, very important because we not dey celebrate forgive Bobby water to Pikin 1 day. We not dey celebrate am 2 days. We dey celebrate am for 1 whole week. May you see how Bobby water very important to we baby them.
So how Bobby water important to young Pikin them?
Bobby water very important. And I want for born and know say Bobby water wo dey give baby. We dey give am where the cobra just born. By right, so they don't whipping body and waiting, they don't learn and in mama in chest. The nurse will give the Pikin the Bobby. In not the shot the Bobby, the baby in defend the Bobby. If for begin suck that Bobby day, and the cobra for timer. If they give that Bobby as the Pikin one time as inside member say, oh, you don't say me Pikin, I not get Bobby is if forget. And forget no other thing in between. Forget water the cow kumbra they do say pikin dey thirsty. Now that make them call am Bobby water. They no dey thirsty at all. Pass e be say e don go to Master Sabi person wey na the doctor. Sometimes the woman get sick, they say, well, for the give this medicine to this pikin, or sometimes the pikin not be too well, they say, give am this medicine. Now that same day, Bobby, now that same day, that medicine they carry inside, you know, the Bobby where the pikin they take. But otherwise, Bobby water is very important. And the pikin for suck that Bobby there, say 6 months. With man they say uninterrupted. Say 6 months. Whether 6 months they don't done, that woman, you know they grab, you go, you begin buy the other Islam, where they inside the put to couple them more, where you know say not go for continue for the girl. If for cancel the Master Sabi people there, what he do? Motor mechanic, you know the son lawyer. So would that Sabi in work? Now there the combra for carry the pikin, who they call the nutritionist. Me say acceptance without number. Why they promote this breastfeeding? As the pikin they don't done the 6 months, and they say the combra say cancel me. Wait, cancel me? I know they sit down and say, and I saw for go mix the belly mix. And they say come and go to the nutritionist. Waiting do because in none this Master Sabi person in that area there. So it go give it go show how for say the belly mix. But notwithstanding that's all. The Bobby, if they continue for give that pikin that Bobby, they so say it 2 years. So that's me. Say pikin go do work herself. If they suck the Bobby.
So like for the case of the pikin them, where something and born them, they not agree. We don't hear some people and they say, this pikin from our born I not agree suck Bobby. Waiting na the young case.
It possible say maybe that pikin they move her away from a mama the moment so they don't born her.
Okay.
They move her away. Or some say the pikin you not be well, so they move her away from a mama for me they go treat her. But if that they happen, is even inside with your unit, when they ask for Bobby water, as that pikin condition don't begin for improve, we not they give them from, we not they give them milk. That pot to make inside that cup, we not agree for give them. We go only do that one day. That's God forbid if the mommy born a baby, let the mommy die. Because we not agree for me other cobra go get the Bobby water because we not gonna know the sick where that cobra they go get. Now that same day. Now that's now Westman did they say exceptional cases. So if the pikin sick self will put come up from a mama, a days away, believe in me, as a baby cancel, now Bobby water now they ask for. If they begin Christian a cup, with the feed them, so say we begin put an out to the Bobby, if they draw small in most
So not bad at all for the people them way, the comrade them way, so say the work. Then give them 3 months entirely to leave done at the end of the day. Say, well, that quiz will be left and for me picking.
It's not bad at all. Now that's what they encourage them.
So anyway,
They just
depend
on
where it left her. Yes, say something jams will go the waiting at the way for preventer. So that picking will able.
Bobby was very interesting.
Okay.
Now that make what they promote. For Beko brother and give the pikin and Bobby water, we saw the road that they cancel everybody in level. If that woman they don't begin go work, before that one they safe, would they encourage them? You would they prepare in mind, say you go begin the quiz Bobby water, you put another cup, we get a small cup the way they get cover. Once they make not they encourage for the bottle. Where's man, if he say the feeding pikin with then cow and gates always say, if he said the feed have 10 cents for there, let's say 5 cents for there, if they get 5 feed the bottom. But can't miss with family them. 1 feed the bottom, money no 9. Even say more 9. So you still said the 6 the cover because they're not able for handle and well.
Well, we want to say plenty thank you to Matron Martha Laga, Matron at the Olajuwon Children's Hospital for where it don't take in time and make people understand why make it fine for give pikin Bobby. And it don't say so tell we but you want them where no one forgive Bobby, how they forgo about for take good care of the baby milk or baby food them where you they give to young baby. Well, continue for watch the program. The program is still a watch now. Voices at 7 a.m. when they come to you live now. Voices online TV, Facebook page, and YouTube channel. Today inside the program, we say we can talk to the Anti-Corruption Commission as they don't get consultation with President Bio on how them for put together the national strategy or national anti-corruption strategy 2024 to 2028. While we get to the studio guest inside the program.
Good morning, Alex.
Good morning. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure being here.
We get Alex Ba, we are the Public Relations Assistant now the Anti-Corruption Commission, ACC. Alex, we just see the ACC gets a consultation with the president. What's in this consultation be about?
Yes, that's now for climax. We nationwide consultation where we get with every stakeholder, people representing every spheres of society from across the country, with their views and thoughts on how we go able for challenge, confront head-on, and able for defeat corruption. We now inform part of what we call the National Anti-Corruption Strategy. We can culminate then consultations there with meeting with the president. Because let we understand first of say, if at all we go able for succeed in this fight against corruption, we need the enabling environment. And that enabling environment, they will be provided with a very strong presidential, as much as we also need political will. So we don't hold then consultations in there with other people then. Yes, we don't hold then talks in there with different sets of society, and then we reach now to the president for mark the the climax of that. For get in your views, waiting the president think what are the steps then we think say we need for employ for make the fight all the more robust. Let remember say we just get the previous strategy where be don't end, where now be from 2019 to 2023, where now be a 5-year strategy. So this one now we be don't get last year some 8 experts them where we be don't consult. And interestingly, this time around, unlike before we always don't get this national anti-corruption strategy 5 years framework, we get local experts them, as in Sierra Leoneans then we competent. Unlike before we they get international people and maybe they come for can't tell we for can't help we how we for set the tone for the fight against corruption. This time around we get experts them we in Sierra Leoneans then competent one then we consult, and at the one they are help we forget the views and thoughts of every shades of society. So now we reach out to the president, we get an engagement with them, and like I said, this engagement be successful, wherein he share some of his views them. Let remember say the successful implementation of the just concluded 2019 to 2023 strategy, and because again in thoughts them be they. And not just that, because again we provide with the amplitude for able to make all them magical gains and we will make in the fight against corruption.
Mr. While you make them small in English, so if you in the ordinary man, they listen, they watch, we will understand. So look at to the conversation. What is the president's input?
Yeah, so basically the president, first off, congratulates the commission, the commissioner, where na him began the power for fight corruption and began the free space, and they also congratulate the team of experts them. He be impressed for say this time around na competent Sierra Leoneans them be the part of the team. So he be expressed in delight about that. But way and beyond that also, it make it clear say the fight against corruption it's difficult because corruption they always fight back. And they mutate, they change in form when they fight back. So he, emphasize the need for let we get more and more, robust strategies. Then, if this thing they fight back, we need for find more technique. Then, who we self go able to employ, go able for defeat them. In fact, he link corruption like a drug dealer. That as much as the high risk we involved, but you always dey find different ways then for able for go about it in trade. And as much as we know the impact of drug, just like corruption, we say need for find better strategy for able to address them. So he make that very clear. So as much as he mentioned that, he make a known also say we need for, among other things, much more use and employ technology.
Okay, we will talk about technology. We'll talk about this strategy, the National Anti-Corruption Strategy, 2024 to 2028. Explain to people and let them understand what is the strategy.
Yes, so the National Anti-Corruption Strategy, one way, in fact, when you look at the global level, we get documents then we shall in the part of, we get the UNCAC, we not the global document where all state parties then signed up to, and then emphasize and talk more for like countries then get that National Anti-Corruption Strategy when a 5 years action plan where they show clearly how una wan fight corruption, and not just we at the ACC deciding so we fight corruption. The fight against corruption, not to we fight as ACC, it's a national fight, and now we they lead the charge, now we they take the lead. So this strategy here, it gets to do with every Sierra Leonean in view. We consult with teachers, we consult with health workers, we consult with headmen, local leaders, paramount chiefs, every people, every corner of Sierra Leone. We move around with them, we experts there, then get all the thoughts of people, and we go to the police, we go to the doctors, we go to the military personnel, we go to all shades of Sierra Leone, even the ordinary people, and all of them thoughts then we then come with. Now we write out, we put her inside the strategy that Sierra Leoneans then say the next 5 years, now this and this we need for do inside the fight. Like the previous strategy, interestingly, I go reference when we be the do now the very Sierra Leoneans then where we consult across the country, one of the things that will be standouts now that we need for name and shame people and we involved in corrupt practices. So interestingly, in 2019, immediately after the vice president, we launched the strategy, Namiata conference. When the strategy came into effect, the very first case then where we get, now then sets of teachers them, where be the show picking them, where be the spy, be the head picking them for spy, go then a separate house, then go sit there exams there, some they even they get sex with girl picking there and all. So when we see that, we know say that's the greatest form of human rights abuse and corruption where they do to a nation for destroy the future of them picking them can be lawyers, doctors them. We decide to Sierra Leoneans the inside this strategy, we don't say that we name and shame. So that's waiting really be informed, what will we do. But again we see the huge backlash again from the very Sierra Leoneans. So basically then I just forgive you an insight that the strategy now all of the views them we don't emphasize more on prevention, and this very strategy here where then get for pull out at the end of this entire work. We don't of course culminate, we don't reach the height of the consultation and they get for launch them, but they also more or less include prevention where the different people as well and views, and they emphasize say we need for prevent corruption. Let we not the wait for let people they don't engage in them. And equally so, even in the last strategy, we just end. Now prevention, people let me mention, low prevent. So part of the preventing as well, I make if we observe, we don't heighten with public education the last 5 years like never before. Because then in our one major way for prevent corruption, let people get the understanding, let people get the awareness. Now you go to every social media handle, WhatsApp, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, we get channels and we're very active. What would they use for let people get the awareness? Because they say to be forewarned with knowledge as well, not to be forearmed. So we don't use that, we don't prevent corruption even with systems reviews them where they carry out and different MDAs them. And they also emphasize them in this strategy, and then systems review them there for go now government ministries, departments, agencies them, and look at the gaps them, who say it possible for let them corruption thrive. And we address them systems and they we count best practices them for let them things and they were able for address them. So we also prevent corruption through what we will get now the very National Anti-Corruption Strategy Secretariat. We get a secretariat now, the ACC. We get in different government institutions there, we get integrity management committees then we have their own internal framework within the use for fight corruption.
Them that security also integrity itself. Now every government institution it is.
Yes, then get IMCs then in different ministries, department, agencies.
The parliament.
Every institution, every government institution,
It work?
get their own internal structures them, and it's very viable.
It work?
I mean, it's very active. We can always make it better, but we secretariat can always ensure say we get all of them IMCs. Then from time to time we can find ways then for look into some of the activities that of the integrity management committees and they within existence in then different government agencies.
We'll go back to the strategy.
Yes.
Waiting are the things where the strategy capture for let people understand waiting inside the strategy, waiting are the people opinion. Because as you talk, it's like the strategy now people centered strategy.
Yes. Now people and they decide how we for fight corruption. Okay. Waiting we for do. And we now the ACC, the only thing we they do now for put them into effect. Away from prevention as well, where I don't talk about. Prevention also gets to do with some of the things that we mentioned, also about asset declaration. The people I mentioned say for even prevent corruption better, we need for toughen we asset declaration strategies then. And the asset declaration there, as we understand, now it means then we public officers then when they come into the public service space, they declare everything they come with, saying that this and this I get. And then after every 2 years, they come back and can't tell we saying that this and this I don't get. So then they give you a clue as to what you're able to forget during you stay in a public service, for able to detect issues like unexplained wealth and all. So they emphasize that as well. And some of the things that will also then be mentioned in the previous strategy we go parliaments, we review the asset declaration regime, we reduce them from all public officers, including cleaners, they will for declare to grade 7 upwards, and now it don't become effective. And in the previous declaration session, we record over 95% compliance rate, which are one of the highest in the continent. So they emphasize asset declaration now in this current strategy, and it's going to interest you for no, and Fambolende for no say. Part of them things they are self where we don't preview for understand, based on the consultation then. We currently the work for get, in fact, we don't do 100%. Forget a new directorate now the ACC, a brand new directorate, what we call the Assets Declaration Department, where they now the mandates. Now we don't get the asset declaration for years, but now for effectively ensure so they're able to handle issues like asset declaration, assets management, and other things. And because people then don't emphasize it, this is really important for prevent corruption.
Then then talk about asset declaration. Now just for the ACC or the ACC supposed for the make and public stay. This also politician gets before it take this position. So people will know at the end of the day whether it gets more than waiting a count.
No, waiting the law provide for all public officers then we fall within the spectrum when are grade 7 upwards, or even if you're not the grade 7 upwards, if they play with money, if you get fiduciary responsibility, or you're a politically exposed person, you're a government appointee and all, presidential appointee and all, for declare. So I don't need the law provide. The law provide for let them declare to the ACC, and we also they ensure say we get them records then they for detect issues of unexplained wealth and other issues then. If we for investigate person the first point of call and for go looking at the declaration. But for now, the law not provide for let them make some of them declaration they are we they get in privy, in confidence, publicly. If the law provide that, they do them, because we also now law enforcement agency and we cannot act ultra virus waiting the law provide. So as far as now the local standard we get, and for law we ensure say we make every public officer declare an asset, and we get very stiff sanctions inside 2019 the amendment what we do section 122 subsection 1A, we make am clear say if you fail for declare your assets, one, you would be suspended, and two, you would be, in fact, one, first your salary would be seized. Would they seize your salary, you forfeit it. Two, you'll be suspended, and the third limb of the sanction where the law provide, you'll be dismissed. Okay. So you make them compulsory.
ACC don't ever take the actions, and they are not safe for junior staff, though, but for like political appointees.
No, of course. In fact, if they follow through, these past few weeks, we don't engage the media. We don't, effect the first limb of sanction, where we don't send notification letters to certain ministers and other highly placed people. And then we start first. We tell them, say, they don't default, they have a declaration, and as law provide, we give them 14 days period from the day when they receive that letter. If they not declare, then salary will be seized. That's the first limb of sanction with the law provide. With the seize and salary. And in the last declaration session, when we start for seize salaries, every other public officer then begin rush now the ACC and then declare the assets. And I make we record as much. So now this year, this declaration session again become a biannual. One gets maximum compliance rate, and we don't effect all of them sanctions and the way the law provide. We don't start with them.
You mind for share? Some of them ministers want to send letters for one them say they're supposed for good declare their assets.
No, for now, what I go note is the fact that we get, ministers, not necessarily even the ministers, because it's an individually based thing. We get ministers them where we don't notify. We get parliamentarians them as well. We don't default. Where we also don't send letters them too, and we get different highly placed people them, and then people here we don't make them clear say if they not declare. The very first thing first, we then sure say the salary will be seized.
Okay.
And after that, they will be suspended. Say for for example, parliamentarians, and because then the constitution provides for them clearly. So then one, and they will not get the powers. Same for them, we not get the powers for.
We're talking about the ministers. ACC will take the actions, and if they default.
So of course, we start for the seized and salary, and then we move on to the next limb of sanctions.
Okay, Alex, continue for the with we. And then now Alex Barr, Public Relations Assistant, now the Anti-Corruption Commission, ACC. The program where they watch now Voices at 7 a.m. where they come to you live on Voices Online TV, on Facebook and on YouTube.
All right, we continue with the program, and now we go and take another issue. Tuesday, 6th August 2024, President Bio na the state opening of Parliament. Talk about press freedom. USA is say a government don't they do more and still committed for do more on press freedom. Well, Voices Online TV, as we still they continue for look at the president in speech na the state opening of Parliament. We've been talked to one senior journalist and civil society activist, Theophilus Sagbenda, but what did he think about the president in statement on press freedom? He talked this and more to Magdalene Kago inside this interview.
Yes, so the president talked about a number of issues. So one of the things that he talked about, of course, now in priority, when at the Feed Salon initiative. Then the other thing where the president talked about, of course, now the fact say Salon need for be united. Of course, we see demonstrations going on in across many African countries in particular. But the president they promised say they will provide 500,000 jobs, and the president in his statement said they don't provide about 5,000 jobs in the health sector alone. We not get it any indication as to how many other jobs have been created in other sectors like mining, like tourism, police, military, and elsewhere.
All right, okay. Well, now let me talk about press freedom.
Okay.
We now one thing with journalists and even MRCG don't they push for.
Okay.
And the president inside his speech is saying government committed for push or make sure say we enjoy press freedom. What do you think about that statement?
Well, of course, I certainly endorse the statement because more than any president before, we see say President Bio done really make great strides towards ensuring press freedom. I mean, no, in principle. When I say in principle, we still get lots of issues relating to the actual realization of press freedom, because we know of recent incidences wherein, for instance, a lawyer put out, an opinion by way of a piece or a written article. She was targeted. We also know of journalists them, we also don't face victimization because of what they say. And even media, they face some kind of situation, because I remember when APC began at power, where we they talk very critically about what in government they do or not they do, we were branded as SFP journalists. Now that we are being very critical sometimes about what in government they do, they also the brand we as APC journalists. And so we're not going to say that for be this situation. We also get a situation wherein we think to say they actually expunge the 1965 seditious part of the libel laws, where we done the advocate for, and where the former president and the SCOMA be promise we say it go expunge before in term of office done. But of course, it finished in term of office, 2 consecutive terms, not able to do that. So that make we say kudos to President Bio. But we see say whilst they expunge the law, they face come some other things them. For example, the cyber law, where many people they feel to say now a replacement of the 1965 seditious criminal law. And of course, we don't see a situation wherein a number of journalists have been invited to the police based on what they say on the radio or write in a newspaper. So we feel to say yes, there's a semblance of press freedom, but the president and the government need to do more for ensure say this press freedom become yearly actualized.
All right, okay. So what's at some of the things that we think say the government for do we go show say they're really committed for push for this press freedom and make people enjoy press freedom.
One important thing is that the government need to empower the Independent Media Commission, and the IMC, if I be the first port of call when it comes to issues relating to journalists. Report matters to the IMC. Let the IMC arbitrate, or let the IMC go into the matter then day. Because if you say you remove the aspect of the criminal libel law, which means you forget a civil approach to issues relating to journalists. And what we see is that the IMC is not being empowered, right?
So how you think say the IMC could be empowered?
Well, they should have the wherewithal. They forget the wherewithal for monitor radio stations and newspapers, but they will also get the capacity for able to go out and educate the journalists then on how best for practice their professions.
Okay, so finally, what do you think say go be journalists and self-your role for ensure say they do their work well and their work not even affect other people then as well?
Yes, we journalists are very responsible people. Of course, we never say we get intruders where they come into the profession for just finding a living. But the actual journalists then, we are not into this business for just finding a living. It is our career, it is our profession, and it is a noble profession. That is why it is called the fourth estate. So the media is a very important entity in the country. And journalists or media institutions are rated on a global scale. So if you, for example, compare the kind of journalism we practice in Salon to Nigeria, to Ghana, and other countries, we are low. We are below the belt. Even though Salonia in journalism actually started because the first broadcasting entity when as SABC. Now the first one, now the whole of West Africa. So if I say Salon, of course, we don't always do on the map when it comes to journalistic practice, but then we are now low because there's a serious issue relating to media poverty. There's another serious issue relating to media institutions where they struggle for operate because of so many challenges. So I think to say it's not just about government looking at large, but it's also government looking at the media holistically and see how best the media capacity will be improved upon, media investment will come to play, and then we get a situation wherein there is media liberalization. So if any media want to operate a TV station or a newspaper, of course, government for able for create that leverage for make it possible.
That's Nabi Theophilus Sagbenda, journalist and civil society activist. Be the talking inside our interview day to Magdalene Kabo, but the press freedom commitment with President Bill say in government committed for CC press freedom continue for work and work fine in the country. While we continue with the program, and the program we still watch now Voices at 7 a.m. where they come to you live now Voices Online TV, Facebook and YouTube channel. Don't forget to drop we comments, question or any of these section them na Facebook and YouTube, and you can as well go now with 034225373. The number again is 034225373 and drop we comment or question. As we still get na the studio Alex Ba, Public Relations Assistant na the Anti-Corruption Commission Sierra Leone ACC. And then also today, it tell you about the new anti-corruption strategy for 2024-2028, where then they work on, as it said, they already don't get consultations with people and don't end up with President's bill. When they come back to Alex, let me go back to the old strategy or the one who I don't know if we still use already done now, the 2019 to 2023. Yes. So the implementation, how it interlink, waiting at the impact where this was will make as we now the faith forget a new one.
Yes, the different fronts then where they define the previous strategies then we get to do it, of course, preventing corruption in a more robust manner, and also investigating and prosecuting, and all of the areas then we be able to make enormous gains them. Preventing corruption, we be able for first off prevent corruption through public education. We set out internal structures them within the ACC. For example, before this time the ACC now be get a public relations unit, and within the public education department we be able to create that space there, and we see we have been very active like never before in ensuring that people can get the message about the fight against corruption.
So because how knowledge for measure on now and the gains that we say una don't make so far in terms of public education and all waiting una be don't do. How una able for measure?
Yes, we of course ultimately we meet and we single out the previous strategies and the previous generation 2019 to 2023, how much success we get in terms of implementation, and then success then they now be put into different pointers, and like I mentioned, so the public education will make them very effective, and we see even when when Carl we do the national perception survey in 2019, we see the people then 92% of the respondents then should say then get huge confidence in the commission and the work we do. So much of them things then they now as a result of the fact that first off the people then they are abreast with all waiting they happen with the ACC. Now you go on our website, it is one of the most active, anti-corruption platforms that you define in Africa. We keep them very updated, and people are very informed about everything that happen. So that is the first aspect of waiting the strategy be contained. When a robust public education part of prevention, we also be carry out lots of systems reviews then at different MDAs them, and we monitor and process them. We be get MDAs them. Quite recently, we be do nationwide awareness raising on some of the recommendations that will be there. Now, some systems reviews them. For example, the systems review will be do na Sierra Leone National Fire Force, the systems review will be done at NATCA, and all of them things, and then the compliance rate. The compliance rate, now most of the institutions, and they way and above, 70% and more. Some of the institutions then get, minimal compliance rate, and they continue for work with them. So more or less, than in our part of the prevention, we see also the asset declaration. We make our robust because people emphasized previously that we need for prevent corruption through also that means. And so we'll be going to review the asset declaration law. We make them biannual. We of course also reduce the grade for make it effective and efficient, and we record that maximum compliance rate in the last declaration session, and we IMCs, then we're also viable in different MDAs then. But beyond that as well, the previous strategy we also emphasize on of course the other aspect, not just the prevention, but going after people and we engage in corruption. So we get what we call the non-conviction recovery model will be introduced as well, where all of these things were informed by some of the recommendations in the previous strategy. And that non-conviction asset-based recovery model, now model what they use. Now, Fambula need to understand this. And like we always only say, the fight against corruption, you're only able to succeed based on waiting you as an anti-graft institution able for do on your own, not to waiting you rely on some other people then for do. Yeah, then say you best servant. Yeah, so it means say as much as if one succeed in this fight and the success we don't make, now if we rely on we self, then say your best servant is yourself. So now then inform we make based on even some recommendations. Now the African level or the global level document, the UNCAC and the African Union Convention, we decide so we absorb that non-conviction model as well into we fight against corruption that is positive. We dey look if now issues of misappropriation, we understand that this is the issue. You don't thief 10 million leons, and we dey go after you, we dey get the money first off. The 10 million leons ball from you with a sanction, a fine, not less than 10%. It can span up to 30 or more percent. Where would they put interest rates, part of that 10 million leons they don't thief, and then we ban you from holding public office. Okay. For a minimum of 3 years. So that day, now a way where we don't get the money, instead of certain matters then like that, we say, no, send you in a court, and each matter where we send a court on average, we spend around 42 million leons, all leons, with the entire prosecution process and every other thing we involved. And it's really laborious. So if we're able to get the money back, we ban you from holding public office. We publish your name. That's the strongest one. And that way we don't use in the past 6 years or more. What we were able to recover, nothing short of over 60 billion onions in that non-conviction recovery model. And before 2018, the ACC not ever recover as much as 2 billion or more leons, and we don't recover over 60 billion in just 6 years.
So when it comes to una progress or waiting una don't do in terms of gains, now only when it comes to ACC and maybe other big people, how they are able to accept or agree say ACC they do well. But if you go now on the street and talk to people, they will still tell you say we still get corruption still they happen, we still get it on this. So why will they get them views they also from people with all the gains the way ACC don't they tell we say then they do?
No, in fact, two things. That is very untrue. Generally, that people then know they resonate with the fact that we're doing pretty well. I go agree with you when you talk say people then will still say corruption still prevalent. Yeah, we're not able to succeed 100%. But again, you go out there. I mentioned, say, in 2019, when Carl do the survey, these are data-driven things. Not to just hear, say, data-driven things. Carl and survey in 2019 shows, say, 92% of the respondents then show there is a huge trust and confidence when they repose in ACC.
Carl and ACC and maybe some of the elite people and able to agree with you.
No, this is a data-driven survey with every ordinary.
Data-driven survey. What are they saying now that if you go out now to the layman, then go tell you say no, we not agree. Corruption still they happen with all the gains where ACC don't they tell we say then they make. And one part una strategy there now that na public education. So why make we still they get people they think or get the idea say ACC no they do well in this fight against corruption. Now only the elite and maybe ACC and some few other people will agree with you when it comes to this, but we still get bulk of the population where we still they refer to as people where maybe not go school or not understand what they happen. So what on they happen with regards the public education and all that the way we know they do for make sure so we are able to get everybody on board on this fight.
So that is still untrue, and you still come back to my point. The point you had to make, and they dispute the fact that you still get from people and where they say corruption
Alex,
still
you
in
still-
some shades
you
and
still
privilege.
go
Yes.
back.
No, I come to the point.
Yes,
that I
if they
respond
go
to
back
them.
to data we then conduct information and collect in 2019. This now 2024. You don't think say people in perception don't change about
Yes.
the fight against corruption?
Good. So, why I mentioned that's in fact it should generally say something way tangible, but at the same time, yeah, we still get a huge challenge for combat corruption. When a very, in fact, a very devilish scourge, we're difficult. We still get that challenge there. But as much as we don't able to do, these things are evident. There is no time in the history of Sierra Leone when people do not get the awareness about the fight against corruption than before, than this time presently. And all of them things, then they, like I mentioned, even the public education, we they reach out. Quite recently, we get engagement in this Kuto Road market, yeah. And we they get similar engagement then we they go to every community, every marketplace. We they engage people and not to just radio and TV and we get engagement like you say with people and we're highly placed. But we they reach out to the ordinary Sierra Leoneans then. So as much as some of them views then they still express certain concerns then to we. And it's a collective fight. Now we all need to come together for able to win this fight. But again, the truth and the reality is the reforms then we don't make in terms of the laws then we don't make. In 2019 we go parliament, we toughen the anti-corruption laws then. We increase the fines them. We increase the jail terms them. We make corruption a high risk and an extremely low return venture. We mean say if you are engaged in corruption, you will not say the risk is high. And you know the profit per again because before if you thief 10 million leons, for example, then find you guilty, you they pay that 10 million leons back. But now, if you thief 10 million leons, then find you guilty, you they pay that money the full, and you they pay a fine on each count charge where they find you guilty of not less than 50 million leons. Or you serve a jail term of not less than 5 years, or even based on the substance of the matter, you they even pay the fine and then you serve the jail term. So all of them laws and they don't make. You make corruption, you they think twice before you engage now. And I make in these past 6 years, we don't get over 90% conviction rate of the matters that we don't send to court. We don't recover over 60 billion oleums. And for crystallize all of them things, then for make them clearer, in 2017, when they rate Sierra Leone, the Millennium Challenge Corporation scorecard, when a US government, the independent assessment, where they can assess countries across the world, on our effort for fight against corruption. And based on that, they give una money back if una they do well. In 2017, when they rank Sierra Leone, we be there 49 failing percent in the fight against corruption. And in the past 15 years, before 2018, when they be the rank Sierra Leone, we highest score. Now be 53%.
That all these gains or all what you they mention with all the education way una they do, why you know the filter? So majority of the ordinary people. Now my question.
No, it is filtering. People get knowledge now. People get awareness. Yeah. Me, in fact, the past few weeks before even I be the past few weeks, I reach out to different communities then in Bo, in Kenema, in Kailaun, and Cambia, and then just for the past few weeks, and I don't reach out in the past 12 months. Now every district in Sierra Leone, we they get engagement with ordinary Sierra Leoneans them. And now, in fact, for really hit down on your question, we get what you call the productive social safety net and youth employment project. When I $42 million World Bank and government of Sierra Leone project, where they give monies them to ordinary Sierra Leoneans. They not to loan, no, they give them money them free for let they able for upgrade and living standards. We get 12% of the population where they are extremely poor. So now then the money there they give. And this time around, this $42 million project, with the ACC, of course, they part of and like the other previous project, then they monitor. We they make sure say we work a foot by foot. So the one day we they give the money, let if John forget 2 million, because they get around 2 million something, 100 leons to each beneficiary. If John forget 2 million, you get 2 million leons with no cent where they come out from that money day. And all of them people there are then different, hard to reach communities there, where they go monitor, where they give them monies there. If you see the joy and happiness where they express, being that before, them monies there not be they reach them. But with the ACC, with intervention in them project there over the past 6 or more years, you know, the monies that we then forget, so they get and no single penny they come out, and you will see the happiness. So then they show
Alex,
people that really don't, you know, get the confidence, the belief, and the appreciation of the work we do.
Let's talk about the strategy.
Yes.
And make provision for whistleblowers them, like people who want give information and one raise concern about corruption. This strategy make provision for them.
Yes, those are all issues them where the people them also then raise, then highlight that reporting corruption is very central, is very key, because we able only forfeit corruption where people then report to we. In fact, I they able make we able forfeit corruption fundamentally. So the strategy also, there are issues like that where definitely were raised, and but interestingly, we actually get a law. We get, you know, provision inside the anti-corruption law which protects whistleblowers. Section 81 of the Anti-Corruption Act of 2008, as amended, gets that mechanism there where we protect people and we can make reports to we by way of phone calls them, now we toll-free lines there, or by way of you know, reports them where you actually come and make to we they protect you against any reprisal whatsoever. That if you can't tell we say that person they corrupt, you can't congosa to a good congosa, nothing absolutely would be done to you. And it go interest family also for know that that we should blow a mechanism there. Also go to the extent that if you can make report to we and we made for understand say you could be at any risk, we also get provision for provide securities for you, and we also get provision for even remove you here and go to somewhere else that we think you could be safe if now outside the country. So then raise their views there, then raise their concerns there. But in their engagement there, we get with them people there, we make some of them things they are known to them, but we also input them in the strategy to see how maybe we can always do better in terms of whistleblower. But we get one of the strongest whistleblower protection mechanisms there we define, and it's inside the law. And not just that, but we also get a reward scheme. If you can make report to we, if you can report acts of corruption, and through that report they were able for you know, recover money, the proceeds then we get from that recovery, 10% of them they go to you. So not to just for can report. If you report money, if you report we recover money, you also they get some gains them where would they give to you, at least for the efforts we make for able for recover money where they go back to the state.
I will talk about the culture for foster integrity and ethical behavior in our public institutions. Then how do you see go about this?
Yes, we get the prevention department. We then exclusively mandated for looking to ministries, departments, agencies, and government institutions then conduct and by way of the manner where they're able to execute and duties them. So the prevention department, interestingly, quite recently then launched you know, ethics and integrity scorecard. And that ethics and integrity scorecard they recently then launched. Now a scorecard way then they use for able for assess, you know, the performance in terms of ethics and integrity of government, ministry, department, agencies them, and publish a scorecard and they And if you see, say, your government ministry, it perform well, you did top of the scorecard this time around, it means you need for do more for able maintain that top space there. If you see, say, you perform miserably, you did bottom, it means say you also get a lot more for do for able for reach out. So danding are just one means then where we don't use. When quite recently we introduced that means say for the government institution and then take more effort for able to absorb issues like ethical conduct within the conduct of their work and integrity for let able maximize that. But I also mention say in the institution they are then get their internal mechanisms them where they help for promote the fight against corruption. And with prevention department they do from time to time systems review, and then systems review they not just they do them, but they also recommend best practice system that these are ways then way una be done. For example, when we do systems review at the Ministry of Education, some of the issues then will come out. Then we get also issues of fleet, fuel management. Then we get also issues of subventions or issues of that nature. So when we do a review, we do recommendations on how them for able to address the issues there. We send them to them. And Section 8 of the Act, you look at the provisions then with the inside it, it make an incumbent compulsory for any government ministries, department or agency where we do the reviews there too. Then need for ensure say they absorb, then take efforts for do all of the recommendations and they will make. Not to foresee optional thing. They need for do them, and we go back and do monitoring and compliance.
Since give them the recommendations and the changes don't take place in that particular year we mentioned so.
No, of course, changes don't take place, and we monitoring and compliance what we do. Now for say if they reviews then what we don't do, when I don't implement them, and if we don't implement them, we get different shades of implementation. We get, in fact, we put them into percentage. If you do minimal implementation, we get away maybe with the write letters to you. For we warn you. If you do, we get a percentage. If you do optimal implementation, you're able to implement, but you're not able to implement the other one, they will come back and support you. And if you do maximum, you're there around 70% or more of implementation, like compliance. And they also commend you, but they also try for urge you for able to reach the maximum compliance rate. So all of them things and these are well-defined methods then where they apply. For institutions they will review, they ensure they implement them compliance then the strategies then they at the fullest.
So the 2024-2028 strategy, what's in the focus?
So yes, they focus on more prevention. They will prevent corruption more. And say an ounce of prevention is better than tons of cure. For there we put more effort on the the aspect of stopping people from engaging in corruption. And he also, of course, emphasize on more robust reforms them where we go use for the investigation or the prosecution aspect of corruption. Where in the reactive approach, the prevention in the proactive approach, we the reactive approach of fighting corruption. The past 2019 to 2023 generation of strategy will be do. Now be informed, in fact, will be get a creation of the elite Scorpion squad. Now waiting people and be saying now be make will be get an elite Scorpion squad will be create, and that Scorpion squad then they within the investigation department, we then go make raid and the name is go make raid. We person here is Scorpion squad. They send shivers down the spine.
When a Scorpion squad, they look normal like they sting the ordinary man, not the top guns.
And who told you they sting the ordinary man? We don't get issues then. A lot of issues then. For example, not just the examination centers then we can monitor, but we get also, for example, this vaccination will be the gone, and we be get some reports of some anomalies then will be the gone. Some certain institutions then the Scorpion squad go and make a sting arrest, and then all the one that will be involved And also, then we
Still
make
a low level of
then we make an arrest even not so long ago na Gendema. So we get all of them things and they waiting important. And for let people and keep attuned and keep abreast with all of the ACC we work because all of them arrests, there are many arrests with the Scorpion Squad they do. And many other things that we do. You go on our website, you go on our Facebook pages, you they see these things are there. And if you see them there, I am sure these questions probably you will not forget to get them things there. Ask now.
Okay, Alex, continue for those who know the program. We will come back to you. Just now, make we take this last interview inside the program for this morning. This BNTM, the Petroleum Regulatory Agency, don't they give updates to the public every month on how they can reach at fuel price plus other decision them we get for do it fuel business. But plenty people still say they don't understand how PRA they work with other body them forget fuel price and other one them. Well, we own Arnold Felix Elba been going at the Petroleum Regulatory Authority office PRA and talk to the Director of Operations and Pricing Samura and Sumana Tunti, and he talk inside this interview with them but how they can get them price them and other decision them where PRA can take together with different body them where they work with.
Well, before now, we dey review petroleum prices, but wetin may dey happen, we do am internally and we circulate to MDs. Basically, the public no dey know. Wetin the public mostly interested in is I go na the form, I buy ABC price, I'm done. So wetin dey happen is at that time you only see PRA when there is price adjustment. So you say, hey, PRA don come back for can talk to you, then they can tell me say price don go up, na ABC make price go up, or price don come down, na ABC make price don come down. So going forward, as of mid this year, after the World Bank and Ministry of Trade and Ministry of Finance meeting, we bin get for review the petroleum pricing formula, we dey assure the public say we go continue with monthly review of petroleum pump prices and we go dey inform the public accordingly through press releases and other media engagements.
So let's talk about this latest release from Apple. We see different prices. Explain to people because it's a bit confusing for certain people.
Okay, what actually happened? The release talks about the components of the formula. We get for do with one. We talk about some parameters of the formula. We get for do with debt recovery, price correction factor. We talk about the Platts, when the international reference price, whether they buy refined products and other commodities. We also talk about exchange rates. Then finally, if you look the last table where they done, and then you get the prices. So it happen. Most people watch the first part. You see, and say, they don't add suffering power again. They don't increase price. Other person look at the one where they done, but he look at the fuel oil price. He say, hey, but fuel price don't come down. So now all that confusion and they now want to avoid because most people now for the first time when they see that kind of release, you see the release we actually make mention of Platts, which are the international reference price, and the release states say price of petroleum products, which are the reference price Platts increase, but we not see increase na the pump price. The release also explain why we not see increase na the pump price because we introduce what we call price correction factor. We also introduce what we call debt recovery. Then we also mention at the release the exchange rate slightly depreciates by 0.43%. So now all that thing and then we put na the release.
So now all what you talk so now affect the price that the price of pump price for petrol and diesel no change. What we see like there's a change in price in kerosene.
Yes, the price for kerosene and fuel oil change. Okay, what happen? The parameters them for petrol, diesel, kerosene, fuel oil, all are different parameters.
That's what they talk big English them.
What that they mean? The thing them will make up the price, the final price for petrol, diesel, kerosene, and fuel oil, all different. They only operate na separate level. So what mean they happen before? Because we want to get uniform price right across the country, we dey unify the price for all products. But now we no dey do am again, follow get same price across all product. We dey left all man carry your load. So wetin happen? The price for kerosene e increase by 0.0 I guess 9 cents from 27.40 cents to 27.49 cents, about 0.09 cents. The price for fuel oil also increase from 25.3 to 25.89 cents. Okay, wetin happen for dis two particular product, like we say, we left dem let dem dey run for themselves. But petrol and diesel, we come with a factor wey now we get na the formula, because we be assure the public say the current pricing formula dey very dynamic, e dey adapt to changes as we proceed. So na dat evident na dis particular release. If you watch the release, e tell you say although plat increase, exchange rate depreciate, but we introduce something na the formula wey we call price correction factor.
So if the exchange rate depreciate, why not affect the price?
E affect the price.
Like for candle, people like
no, the exchange rate wey depreciate, wetin dey happen? You dey spend more leon.
Okay.
You dey spend more leon for get the dollar. Wetin dey really say the exchange rate for June wey we review in July have been 28.28 leons per dollar. But this August review wey we use the July data, e increase 23.38 leons per dollar. So the exchange rate depreciate marginally. If you watch na the release, we also put am the
something like
0.43%. Okay, so wetin that happen is, if you watch the release say, even though plat price increases, but the price for petrol and diesel no increase because we carry wetin we call price correction factor.
The ordinary man will find out difficult on this. What wetin we wan for see fuel price go up?
Yeah, well, we'll continue the review. Wetin we want for assure the public say, as we go forward, we'll continue for review the Allah not talk big English. We'll continue for review the elements dem wey make up this formula, then we go dey inform the public.
Well, that's na been Samura and Sumana Tunti, wey na the Director of Operations and Pricing at the Petroleum Regulatory Authority (PRA). Be dey talk inside that interview dey with we own Arnold Felix Elba, who say don explain more to the public on how PRA can reach out pricing, plus other decision dem wey PRA can take with dem different body dem. We dey continue with the program, and it's still the Watch Voices at 7 a.m. where they come to you live now, Voices Online TV, Facebook, and YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and share the page, as we still get now the studio Alex Barr from the Anti-Corruption Commission, and then also this morning, and they tell you about the Anti-Corruption National Strategy 2024 to 2028, where the commission they work on now.
Okay, Alex, the conversation will continue. So how the commission plan like for address issues related to corrupt practice at the private sector? This strategy cover all this?
Yes, in fact, the strategy not just gets the views of people and where they within public service space, now both public and private sectors then, because the private sector and the public sector, they are intertwined, they are interlinked. Then every day get that relationship, then they work out. So as much as that is very important, we also be get them consulted. For sure, say in fact the private sector very key. Last year or so, before last or so, when we get to International Anti-Corruption Day, or they celebrate, the day was set aside primarily for discuss issues on the role of the private sector in the fight against corruption. In fact, the theme that year was bordered around that. So that shows how much we recognize the role the private sectors and get. So this strategy be also primarily, we get the views of people and we deal within the private sector, waiting and think how they feel say we for do for able to address issues like corruption, because they're always the interface with the public sector. There are times then where they get people in at the private sector where sometimes they get monies them for the public. Yeah, so they then can deal with even public monies. And because let's say you get your own institution where it's non-governmental, and then they give you some funds them for go implement, for go build water well, and if you not build them, it's a problem. It's a public money, and so now issues then also we can require with concern. So we get them, and they were very integral, and then views them form critically part of the national anti-corruption strategy. And all of them, all of them views and thoughts their way we don't get in this strategy. By the end of this year, we dey expect say we go don't conclude them, and then we launch them, and then we move immediately into the implementation phase of the strategy.
The commission gets any plan like for use technology? This strategy will not put to for use technology for combat corruption?
Yes, we get the plan. In fact, for even show that, let's remember say before this time, even with we asset declaration, now people are a good one on paper. You write with you get a paper and go left and we get book paper then. But now we don't transition into digital technological phase. Now if you want to declare your assets, this 2024, we make a 100% technological online declaration. This 2024 will not accept anybody for declare out paper, because the previous year we managed them. But this year we'll make a full blown. Let's go to the website www.anticorruption.gov.sl. You watch declare your assets, and then you click there, and then you declare online now the comfort of your home. So this strategy as well, they contain more methods them for able for utilize technology. And like I also earlier mentioned, when we consult the president in our engagement with him, the president emphasized, he not just mentioned, but he emphasized on the use of technology in the fight against corruption, because we don't transition into technological phase. We're really important for able to address issues like graft. So he emphasized that. So then they are very integral. So now all of them views and thoughts then they will people come with, including the emphasis we president make on technology. Now you get for form part of waiting the strategy. Get forget. And at the end of the day, the strategy will get for launch. So it's very central.
Okay.
So now they focus on corruption prevention. How na intend for do the implementation, or how we get for go about?
We structures them at the ACC, where they seek for address corruption through preventing it. And I think they don't mention some of the structures there. We get with prevention department, we then they prevent corruption, looking at government, institutions them. And through then, reviews them, through then ethics and integrity trainings them, through it they also, disclose that they also get the ethics and integrity scorecard and all. So then get for do prevention of corruption through that means. And we also get reading at the public education department. We also get for emphasize more and more on preventing corruption. Let's remember saying the commissioner, of course, where we get one way believes so much in prevention, and I make it don't reach out now every single corner of this country and get town hall meetings with ordinary Sierra Leoneans them, and get them views them and educate them and enlighten them on the fight against corruption. It don't get public lecture now every university and college in this country, where you don't get students, the emerging young leaders, where you don't engage, where you don't enlighten them on how then self will provide support to we in the fight against corruption. And we self generally we don't make some of them efforts there in reaching out. Them platforms their own that they provide for able for prevent corruption to them means there. So we also get for intensify on all of the approach there. I mentioned say we don't with the transition now into having a new asset declaration directorate, when also key means of preventing corruption. Before this time at the ACC, the asset declaration was a unit. But now we don't get a directorate. We don't get a new directorate where then squarely and exclusively they deal with issues of asset declaration, and we don't broaden then scope and then work.
So,
And the NACS, this National Anti-Corruption Strategy Secretariat, we also get a secretariat, which then they follow the letter that the strategy will be implemented to the letter, and they engage all of the different government institutions there with the internal integrity management structures them for able to address corruption through prevention.
So no additional structure no get for Camo.
Oh, I mean, it's definitely possible that every year they get more means than we use, more methods than we they design to fight against corruption. We've been doing it over the past years, and definitely that's expected. How we could devise more ways, more approaches them for robustly fight against corruption.
So, but as we effect for round up the program, me as a Sierra Leone, I still get the conviction, say, strategies and also all the other efforts we ACCD do for fight against corruption. Now a good one, but I still get the conviction, say, we still need to go back to the act and see how we could get more fines, more things then be done in that act for fight against corruption.
No, yeah, we can only get better. We can only do better. In fact, we can remember, say, even this anti-corruption act we get, if we don't come a long way. In 2000, when the ACC starts, we get 2000 act. But 5-6 years down the line, we decide, say, that act, say, not be really too viable. We not be they get the much intended dividend, because as we explore, as we move into the fight against corruption, we get more strategy. And the laws, they always evolve, because technology they evolve. Before this time, we'll not be to talk about cyber. But cyber don't make now, we don't get issues like that. And some laws then they replete, they become obsolete. So definitely in 2000 we moved to 2008, we completely repeal and replace the 2000 Act we began. Carry 2008 Act, we be give prosecutorial powers, powers for arrest, powers for search and all. And then we use that 2008 Act, one of the strongest anti-corruption acts then in the continent. We go 2019, we make the laws then tougher. We carry a lot of new things and way will be put inside the Anti-Corruption Amendment Act. We don't make them so robust and so viable. So it's expected that from time to time, as we forge ahead, as we move, laws then definitely for address circumstances the way they emerge, definitely get for require that.
The commission, they foresee like any specific challenge for implement this strategy?
There would always be challenges in the fight against corruption.
Like, foresee?
I mean, for now, I'm not go more or less pinpoint something specific other than the normal challenges that we don't get, but we always define ways then for navigate them, because we get a mandate, we get a role, and we mandate very clear for use everything within the powers that we get as provided for in Section 7 for able to address corruption. And so now for more or less tailor the strategy for contextualize and for let it fit into what we want. I mention this particular strategy. All of the experts them who involved in the crafting of it now, one day way they felt it, they know it, and they understand these are locally recruited experts.
These experts.
Yes, and in fact, the chairman of the team of consultants then they put together this new strategy. Now, Omar Ufana, we now a very renowned person within the media space, now a journalist, they report for BBC. Now in the chair this team of consultants, we get Valnora Edwin. Valnora Edwin, he gets, wealth of experience in governance and civil society. He don't work in a civil society space for years. He been campaign for good governance for years and all. And we get Madam Colonel Sanko. He worked at the ACC for a number of years. He rise through the ranks. He served as public education director. He served as director of administration, and he don't retire rather, years ago. So he get that experience the way he carried. We get Ibrahim Tomi, we also very renowned within the civil society space, where they work with CAL, Center for Accountability and Rule of Law. We himself also the part of we get Alfred Kamanda, where a very young person we represented in that team of consultants, now also lawyer, we also help out. We get all our people there. We get Jonathan Pakiwa, we get Mr. Kebe Sise, we get all of them when they are we form part of the one that we they craft this next generation. So it's expected. It will be handy. It would be very much tangible, and we go able for and then go also continue for help out and provide support to we and let us successfully implement and with the view for label for tackle discordia without corruption.
Okay, so with the implementation of the 2024-2028, whose stage will they expect for it? After with the implementation of the 2024-2028 strategy, whose stage will they expect for it?
Yes, we expect for make many more magical successes. Yeah, the many achievements, the unprecedented gains that we make in the past years now because of the waiting the strategy previously be contained and how we'll be able to implement it. It was tough, it was difficult, but we took it head on and able to make them gains. The earlier on, I'll be even reference that some of them things that I make Sierra not just locally assessment, but even internationally, MCC, we skyrocket, not to move, we skyrocket from 49% in 2017. From 2018 onwards, we don't score 70% and above, and we don't score up to 83% in the control of corruption scorecard. It's not easy for move one place up in the independent assessment and the Transparency International, where in the world, overwhelming institution where they rate and rank institution the efforts and government efforts and fight corruption. We move from 130 in 2017. We now do 108. We move 22 places upwards, and we also get 32 marks when are way and above the sub-Saharan average score in the fight against corruption. So all of them things there, their full barometer reports don't show say Sierra Leone now one of the top 3 performers in Africa and many other assessments, and don't show say we are really making moves. Liberia be there 2 months ago. Then come for count that study we work. Then be there 2 years ago back. Guinea be there in 2022. And interestingly, the anti-corruption boss in Guinea, the question we asked the commissioner was waiting at the secret, waiting make Sierra Leone do so well because we are so much admired in the international space. We get Malawi, we get Uganda, we get Gambia. We don't come for even land we SSN. I be the talk of the social safety net where we implement when our government of Sierra Leone World Bank scheme where we provide money to very poor people and how we don't implement as seamlessly and can learn them methods and then we don't use. So all of them things are things and where we as a country we need to be proud of how much effort we've made and how far we've come in the fight against corruption. But it also shows that we get a lot more for do for able to defeat this enemy.
So let's talk about how the commission will monitor and evaluate the success of this strategy.
We get the secretariat, we are the National Anti-Corruption Strategy Secretariat. In the part of the commission, a secretariat where they under the commissioner office. Okay. Then they purely and exclusively get the mandate for monitor every step of the way, how the fight against corruption, how we they pattern them for lady around and within waiting the strategy provide. So that very secretariat there where the commissioner they supervise the design we plan every year for lay for fall within waiting and for lay will see the tangible, the pointers and the timelines then way they are defined in the strategy we're able for meet up with them. And so now I make every year where we even present the annual reports then where we pull to the president of Sierra Leone. The annual reports and they detail department by department. All of them work them way down the do to the president. All of them things and they well tailored within the 5 years plan where we get. So basically we get that secretariat then at the commission and at the commissioner just quietly superintend them.
As a way for wrap up this conversation on the Anti-Corruption Commission, the next generation strategy 2024-2028. Waiting, I go describe the last strategy we just end because this new one not started. So I go describe the last strategy.
Yes, it was highly successful. It was a great deal of success. We able for make we able for show say better is indeed possible in the fight against corruption. Sierra Leone, before this time, in 2013 or so, was ranked the most corrupt country in the world. They fail miserably in every single index and assessment, locally and globally. We image was so bad that even investors, them, sometimes those things they scare them away. But because of the strategies and the reforms that we don't make, we're able for move from miserable places them in terms of we indexing and assessment them to high and pole positions them. Yesterday we beget the West Africa, in fact, group on money laundering we began at Sierra Leone. In fact, they requested the next plenary session they want host on Sierra Leone because they all don't they admire what we don't they do. So now because this model of fighting corruption has contained with strategy and the last one we implement, it be so much detailed, so much defined, and so much robust, and we're able to implement that to the letter. We able to make all of them numerous gains, and we move from miserable positions to pole positions in the fight against corruption. And we make also that they can take we knowledge, we know how in the fight against corruption, not to just them visit where they can visit. So remember, say even the anti-corruption boss, the commissioner, he was made president of the network of anti-corruption institutions in West Africa, NASIWA. He was also made a board member of the African Union Advisory Board on Corruption. Recently in Ghana, he was also made the West African sub-regional representative in the Association of Anti-Corruption Institutions in Commonwealth Africa. And 2 years ago in Burundi, Bujumbura, he was made also the West African rep of the anti-corruption authorities in Africa. So all of them things are things that we will not be used to before this time at Sierra Leone. But now we not just to succeed where they come and can listen and can learn from what we do, but they also can lend credence, take away expertise for let them able to develop the fight against corruption continentally. So we don't do so much, and this strategy as well, we're able for direct way on how we go, make much more gains them in the fight against corruption.
Plenty thank you, Alex Ba, in the Public Relations Assistance at the Anti-Corruption Commission, ACC. One for take plenty thank you. We take your time for joining the program this morning.
And we say so they say plenty thank you. So the entire technical team, we don't make you get the program live this morning. We begin at the team Ralph and also Mohamed Denke plus Prince Kote. We don't be with camera operator. So you say we don't watch we and we don't take part in the program this morning. We say plenty thank you to una all. And don't forget for watch we afternoon program when our Voices Lunchtime Live. We go come to you at exactly 1 to 2 p.m. So tomorrow we the final edition for this week. They come to you. Mina Fatima say they say get yourself a lovely Thursday.
Till we meet again at this same medium, 7:30 in the morning. Mina Arnold Felix Elba, they say tata.
Welcome to Voices Online TV, your trusted source for the latest news and developments in Sierra Leone. Today, we embark on a groundbreaking journey into the arts of our nation's digital evolution. In a world where information flows seamlessly through screens and keyboards, new media has become a powerful force shaping our society and driving progress. From the energetic bloggers who bring fresh perspective to social media, influencers who amplify voices and stories, Sierra Leone's digital landscape is alive with innovation and engagement. In our new program, New Media, Contribution to Development in Sierra Leone, we explore how these digital pioneers are transforming our nation. Join us as we dive into the world of online content creators and media innovators, discovering how their efforts and fostering growth, education, and empowerment across Sierra Leone. Tune in as we spotlight the voices behind the screens, unveil the impact of new media on our development journey. This is new media contribution to development in Sierra Leone, only on Voices Online TV. Voices,
Your trusted information hub.
welcome to Voices Online TV, your trusted source for the latest news and developments in Sierra Leone. Today, we embark on a groundbreaking journey into the arts of our nation's digital evolution. In a world where information flows seamlessly through screens and keyboards, new media has become a powerful force shaping our society and driving progress. From the energetic bloggers who bring fresh perspective to social media, influencers who amplify voices and stories, Sierra Leone's digital landscape is alive with innovation and engagement. In our new program, New Media Contribution to Development in Sierra Leone, we explore how these digital pioneers are transforming our nation. Join us as we dive into the world of online content creators and media innovators, discovering how their efforts and fostering growth, education, and empowerment across Sierra Leone. Tune in as we spotlight the voices behind the screens, unveil the impact of new media on our development journey. This is new media contribution to development in Sierra Leone, only on Voices Online TV. Voices,
Your